Welcome to Real Estate Essentials. I'm your host, Jay Deere. On today's show, we're going to be featuring a very unique type of landscaping that Zach from Huskiez Landscaping just did. We're also going to be showing you a remodel from our guys from Fix, and we're going to be showing you a unique type of way of making homes out of containers that they're doing in Salt Lake right now. All that and more coming up right after this. I'm Jay Deere. I've been on top of Utah's real estate market for over 10 years. I will show you things about this market that you never knew.
You don't need someone dropping the ball on your mortgage. Recruit a professional. Darren Rhodes, Utah's Mortgage Pro. He's got the skills, speed, and experience to win the best financing for your home. So draft Darren today at utahmortgagepro.com.
I've lived here for about 26 years, and I've been wanting to do my yard for 20 of them. And finally, I got to the point where I'd like to finally get the whole thing done. And I'd like an appraisal on what you can do for me.
Perfect. We'd love to help you. What are you kind of thinking? What type of design or of theme you looking to do?
I want rock. I want to cut down my water bill. Right now, as you see, it's all grass and crap. I want to start new. I want to start fresh. I want the whole yard done. What
type of things have you seen in your life that you like to incorporate in your landscape? Because we don't just need to have rock. We can have native and natural plantings. We can have garden boxes if you like to garden.
I like the garden boxes. What are they, just square?
Yeah, we can custom build those any size and as large as many as you would like, so that you can use any type of vegetables on your salads for dinner. You can walk right out there and pick them and eat them fresh.
I like that.
That'd be really cool.
I really like that. Well, when you see the rest of my yard, you'll notice the back area is garden area for all my other neighbors.
What about water features? Would you like maybe a small water feature to tie in? We could do it by the front door. We could do it in the backyard by the patio.
I'd like it by the front door.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That'd be really neat.
Let's do that. There's an option. You can do an old style water spigot like you see on Little House on the
Prairie. You mean those kind of?
Yep. We could do that with some wine barrels around it. That can flow into it. It's called a pondless water feature, where the water will just basically disappear. You won't know where it's going, but it goes into a big sump. We can put some landscape lights also throughout your yard, so that everything will be lit up at night and you can actually enjoy it in those cool, crisp nights that we have in Utah.
Would they follow my walkway too, so if my lights are turned off, I'd know where I'm going?
Oh, definitely. How about fire pit?
I've never had one. What kind could I get?
You can do wood burning.
No.
You can do propane.
That's what I want to do.
Little simple controlled fireplace that when you go out at night, you can roast marshmallows on. You can have a little cooking fire. Let's maybe cut some wine barrels in half and space them throughout your yard, and you can put your annuals. Your annuals are your flowers that die every year, but you come out and they'll provide a lot of color for you. And that'll give you enough that you can get out in your yard to do, but you're not having to go out there and work hours on end every single Saturday trying to keep your yard in shape. It might be an hour or two a week.
Now I've got a bunch of rock on my patio that I had to move when I cut my trees down and back. And I've got a bridge and stuff back there. Can that be utilized in the
definitely.
concept?
Let me give you a little kind of just in you talking what I think we could do. We could do a dry riverbed, a larger one that kind of catches the eye, and that'll wrap around your entire yard, all the way through the side, around the back. It'll split off in a couple areas. Yeah, I think in the backyard too, we could put a little patio. And an idea that we came up with is let's put in a 2-rail old style fence.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Across here.
So it's kind of separating everything.
Yeah, so you have this room and that room, and you have different rooms just like inside of your house. So there's a reason to go to every section of your yard. Back when you had just grass, just a carpet of grass, why would you ever go back there?
I never did.
There's no reason to go back there. So we want you to give you a reason to go to every part of your yard.
And these are trees?
That'll be a screen.
Oh, okay.
So that you can have your own little privacy once those fill in and touch each other, that you're not going to have to worry about, you know, neighbors bothering you. You can be in your own little space, if you will.
So basically everything you're putting out here, except for the wine barrels, after they get established, I'm kind of
You're done
free.
with, basically. And that's the one good thing about having a xeriscape is once these plants are established, the yucca, the mugo pines, a lot of them, once they're rooted in, you can almost turn your water off. So it'll save from going from $300. I would say you're probably going to go down to $30 a month, $40 a month in water.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I'm Jay Deere, the host of Real Estate Essentials. This season we're going to be showing more incredible remodels as well as the latest housing trends and even some incredible absolute auctions on multi-million-dollar homes with no reserves. This happens every Sunday afternoon at 12:30 only on ABC for Utah. So Darren, we're headed on down into Alpine, Utah, and they built this beautiful home right up on the side of the mountain, overlooking, of course, the beautiful valley and the East Mountains. The sellers of this home were planning on building this down in Colfax. They had 35 acres and they were going to build it up on this kind of mountain out there. But about 4 days before they dug the hole, there was a big fire and the insurance companies were pulling back in insurance on these properties. And so if you were to build out in the middle of, you know, in a forest fire potential area, you couldn't get insurance on the property.
Yeah, that would cause you a lot of problems from the standpoint of financing. It'd be extremely difficult to get a loan if you couldn't get your home insured.
Really? So
Yeah.
if you built a house out and you couldn't get insurance on it, you couldn't get a loan?
Yeah, that's right. It's really, really hard because if the property gets destroyed or damaged, then, you know, the lender would be on the hook.
Yeah, so you have to self-insure.
Yeah.
Which is almost impossible. So they end up actually building this thing right here in Alpine, Utah, and they actually drew it up on a notepad and took it to the architect. And they did an incredible job. Normally when people do that and they actually want to be a home designer, they don't do a very good job. But they must have had a really good architect because the way they laid the house out, they did a spectacular job. And of course the finishes are beautiful. Headed in here into the master bedroom. Now they've got a really nice sitting room right off the master. And if you see that picture right there, that actually goes up in the air and there's a TV right behind that.
Oh, TV. Great idea.
Just hidden.
Yeah.
The guys, they said they had the guys from, what was the name of that?
Sound Advice?
Sound Advice. Very good. Thank you, Darren. They were really impressed. They did a great job. These guys have a very elaborate audio and video system in there, and they were just really ecstatic with their work. And they're decorating. She said she did most of the decorating herself, and she really did a nice job. Now, if going down these steps, as you see that's actually a bookcase that pushes into the storage room there. So, Darren, let's talk a little bit about a loan. If you wanted to get a loan on this thing, what would that look like?
Okay, it looks like the list price on this one is $1.7 million. So at that purchase price, you'd want to do a jumbo loan, or you need to do a jumbo loan, and your best terms are going to be at 25% down. So that would be a $425,000 down payment, and that would leave your loan amount at $1,275,000. On a 30-year fixed, you would expect your APR to be right around 5.9%, and that would give you a principal and interest only payment of $77,562. That does not include taxes or insurance.
In this case, maybe no insurance if you built it in Colfax.
That's right. Yeah.
So, well, they did a great job. As you can see, they did just some really creative designs and ideas. Now, headed outside, their backyard is absolutely beautiful. They really put a lot of time and effort into this with a beautiful pool and decks. One of the things I liked most about this property, that you only see it for a second, but they did a pool room, like an exclusive pool room. There it is right there. It's separated from the house, but it actually has its own living area there, and so it works perfect for like a guest house.
I wouldn't mind living in that.
I would live there too. It overlooks a beautiful pool.
Yeah.
Beautiful property.
So when we got here to the Colomores' house, they had had a flood. What caused it was underneath their kitchen sink, they had a plumbing leak, and it was a lot of water that came down. It took down a whole ceiling in the bedroom and continued through the whole basement.
Wow, that's a real mess.
Yeah, it was bad. There was wet drywall everywhere. Their carpet was ruined. We had to tear all that out. We had to move all their furniture into another room that had wood floor on it. And then we found out that the water had actually run underneath the wood floor. It was a dance floor. So what we had to do, we found out there was water underneath that. We had to tear out the whole wood floor and just get rid of everything. So there was drywall cut up a couple of feet up around the whole basement on the drywall too.
Wow, that's a real mess.
Yeah, it was a mess, Jay. The Colomores have a big family, and they have a lot of visitors come in. Their kids come in from out of town a lot. So they needed another space to gather in. And this was just a perfect opportunity to use that insurance money.
Because the insurance money, it paid for these repairs to be done.
Yeah, the insurance company gave them a good amount to get rid of this wood floor that had to be replaced. They got some money from the insurance company. So what we did is we helped them out, and we repurposed that money, and we were able to get them a nice kitchenette here with granite countertops. And it's great because their family's now able to come into town and use this space a lot better.
Now I noticed before you didn't have an outside entrance, so you guys added this in.
Yeah, we were able to, again, for just a little bit more and repurposing some money that they had from the insurance company, get an entrance to their house. And it was a lot of work, Jay. It's no small task to create a new entrance for a house. And then also we were able to do beautiful new tile here. So instead of having a wood dance floor that our kids weren't using anyway, we were able to put some really nice tile on their floor for them.
Jay, I wanted to bring you down here to show you some of the main functioning parts of a xeriscape. We always talk about xeriscaping.
You're always talking about this.
Correct.
So show me the kind of elements before you cover it all up.
Perfect. So down here, let me show you a little bit on this plant. We have an emitter here that the only thing that's going to get water in this whole yard is this plant. It comes through this distribution tubing. It's a 16mm tubing that does not emit any water out until we put a barbed fitting in there, run the spaghetti tubing to this emitter, and that gets put right at the root base or the root zone of the plant, so just that plant gets water.
That's cool.
Another portion of it is this fabric. It's a 5-ounce fabric. This goes on top of everything before we put down the rock mulch, so it prevents any of the weeds from growing.
So it doesn't let the sunlight in? Is that kind of the idea?
Sunlight's the key. People think that it's the water that germinates the weed seeds. It's not. It's the sunlight. This will let the water percolate through. It keeps the moisture content in the soil high, so the plants need less water and the weeds can't grow. You'll get a couple here maybe in the crack of where it touches concrete or something, but that's a simple spot spray instead of trying to keep all the weeds out of here.
Well, that's awesome.
Another feature of the xeriscape are just boulders and rocks. We can walk over here real quick, just to the rocks. And you got to pick out a nice rock that's going to look good.
So you've already got the kind of fabric under here?
Yeah, so we've already got fabric. We've already got the drip line to these trees.
Oh, perfect.
And we're kind of painting our way out of the landscape so that we work from the back corner out to the front.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, that looks really good. I can't wait to see this one. Thanks, buddy.
Cool.
So Darren, we're headed on down to Polo Club Court in the Equestrian States, right there in South Jordan. Beautiful property. One of the many things I liked about this property is, of course, their gorgeous landscaping.
That's a big lot. How big is that thing?
It's actually just over an acre, but it felt much larger than that, I'll be honest. Going inside, they've actually lived here for 13 years. They built it themselves and designed it themselves, and they did a really wonderful job. That light fixture you see right there in the picture actually came from Venice. Very tastefully done. The whole house was very classy and, and they had a lot of different styles that they mixed and matched together, and really just, this house flowed really, really well. The ceilings in that room must have been at least 20 feet tall, and those beautiful windows in there.
Is that looking out into the back?
Yes, the beautiful backgrounds that they just look out to, and all the decks. They got decks on either side of that. Headed on into the kitchen here, they actually designed the kitchen around that copper range hood, and also that kind of green sink. And that was kind of their idea behind the whole colors and design of this.
It looks like they even have 2 sinks.
Yeah, they got one in the center. Not only do they actually have 3 different kitchens in this house, one on each different level.
So there's 3 levels on the house?
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-story conventional, and then they've got a basement, which is it's a walkout basement, but it's more kind of a push-out basement. We'll see it here in just a little bit, where they actually push the basement out and then have a waterfall running down into it. And this, I really liked this area. They were really creative. On the one corner of the house, which would be the north side, they built a master suite, which, you know, we know what master suite is, where you normally have your master bedroom and you got your really nice master bath like this. But then they also wrapped in, going off of that, then they've got a sitting room to watch their movies, and then they've got their office walking through also. It's a really creative design. I haven't seen it done before. Going down to the basement here, you can see that walkout basement. They were really creative under the stairs. I always like that.
I think my daughter would love that.
Yeah, right. There you can see their walkout where they pushed it back. This is one of their other kitchens. Did you see the guy tuning his guitar there?
Yes, I did actually. Good background in music.
Yeah, it's right in their home theater room, which you got to have, right?
Absolutely.
Really nice craft room. They had a ton of storage in this house. Beautiful craft room. Then they had another separate craft room and storage to die for. Had it onto the back deck, as you can see. Look at those grounds. Spectacular.
Is that part of the walkout basement there?
Yeah, you can see how that just kind of, they step down into there. So Darren, what would financing look like on this property?
Well, the list price appears to be $1,695,000. So you're going to be in that jumbo range again. That would mean that you'd want 25% down in this price range, which would put you at $423,000 and a little bit. So your loan amount's going to be just shy of $1.3 million. And if your APR is sitting at 5.8 on a 30-year fixed mortgage, you would expect your payment to be just over $7,000 a month, exactly $7,378. But remember, that does not include taxes and insurance. That's just your principal and interest portion.
Beautiful property. Look at, they got their own putting green, and I practiced all afternoon so I can make this one shot. So Jeff, tell me a little bit about your project and what you guys are doing here.
Well, it's a home that I designed with the help of a very good local architect, Vince Oles. We got together with a concern of trying to help low-income families get their first home, and we kept looking at construction standards. And one of the things we came up with is costs. Costs were getting inordinate with regards to building new homes. So we wanted to come up with something a little bit different. So I used a shipping container. In this situation, we took something very simple, removed 2 walls, literally glued them together, in this case welded it, and created this wonderful living space for one person. One of the things we're seeing right now is we're not seeing large families. You know, we're seeing a proliferation of single people living alone. So we wanted to create something where a single person could live by themselves, or a couple could live by themselves in a safe, affordable, and I think very cool looking manner.
Tell me about the features and what you added into this thing.
Well, one of the neatest features I put in is the Mitsubishi Mr. Slim ductless heat and air conditioning system here. This unit will provide all of the heating and air conditioning for the house. This winter, our heating costs for this house was $45 a month. The next thing, if I could show you, is here. This is the hot water heating system.
This is the always hot, right?
Correct.
This is the stuff that's always
constantly instant hot. What it does, it heats the water on demand. So instead of having a big 55-gallon...
It's tankless, essentially.
Tankless system. This is what this is. Heating costs to this one, again, we're in the probably $125 per year.
Wow, that's great.
You can turn on the water, walk away, and you will still have hot water. 10 minutes later, you will never run out of it.
That's awesome.
One more thing that's really interesting is this closed cell foam insulation that we've used here. This will give us an R value of R7 per 1 inch. We have 3 inches, and then we've topped it all off with something called Eco Bats, which is a recycled corn husk material that has a natural binder to it. So it's not the fiberglass style that you're used to seeing.
What else did you guys put in here?
Well, we've got a bamboo floor, so it's a natural finish that's been carbonized, so it's a perfectly sustainable growth material to use for flooring. We've used just traditional pine casings around. With the ceiling, we've left natural. It's the container look because, first of all, we liked it. Now, above this, we have a tremendous amount of insulation.
Okay.
So that's what it creates.
That's where really important because the sun would beat down on this, right?
Right, and it gives us a nice natural envelope and also a nice aesthetic look to it. We went with a shower versus a bathtub simply for the fact that we're not seeing people use baths as much.
Yeah.
We're not seeing the big jetted tubs. This house would be perfect in the case of a senior.
It takes up space and it takes up a lot of water, right?
Well, if you're a senior and you need help from a caregiver, which is one of the aspects of this home, you've got the opportunity there. You can get in and out of it with a walker, which is really simple. We left natural daylight around, so you notice we don't have any lights on in the house.
I know, which is really cool.
Which is wonderful. I mean, it helps saves in energy, and again, it gives it that nice feeling of
Yeah.
brightness.
And that kind of open feel to the whole place.
Yes, absolutely. The bedroom is rather moderate in size, but again, people that are looking at this house are not expanding. They're not looking for the large McMansion style of housing. They're looking for cost, affordability, ease of maintenance is another thing.
So what is the cost of the house?
This house is $135,000.
Okay.
At
how many square feet?
We're at 672 square foot.
Okay, great. So are you guys planning on taking this project and doing something more with it? Or what are your plans from here?
Well, we're always looking for the opportunity to be able to do something else like this. What we had hoped with putting this house, that we'd have other governments, other regulatory agencies look at some of the engineering that we created here and take that home and apply that in their own communities. For instance, the seismic concerns on this house. This house has been so seismically engineered. It's a perfect opportunity for something in California or some of the other areas that are having earthquake issues.
Yeah.
So we'd like to see it, but right now this house will then get sold. We'll get somebody into this one, and then we'll look at the alternatives and see what's available out there. Again, it comes down to what is the cost and how we can do it and better serve the public.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh.
Well, there you go. If you're looking for kind of new, ingenious ways to do things with real estate, we're looking at container homes with Jeff. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Oftentimes our clients come to us expecting credit restoration or credit education to be an expensive process. They're surprised to find out that it's not, and the value is certainly there in the long run.
So our design theme was old type Western cowboy look. So even down to the minor details of the mailbox, we put a little horseshoe on there. Also, if we look at the light fixture also, we custom built that for.
So you custom built all these things for
Yeah. This is pretty simple. Obviously, people just look at it as a mailbox, but it matches everything that we're doing. So that throughout, you'll see in the backyard, you'll see the same design element.
Zach, I love it. So tell me a little bit about this water feature.
So the water feature right here is kind of the highlight of the whole xeriscape project that we've done for Susan. We wanted to make sure it was by the front of the house, so everybody would see it.
I love how it goes, from your barrel down into your barrel, and then.
Where does it go, Jay? Where does the water go?
I'm not in charge of where it goes. I'm just here to enjoy.
That's our secret, and nobody knows where it goes. It's a mystery.
Yeah, it is a mystery.
So one of the main features in the landscape that we see over and over is this pathway, the flagstone pathway.
It's beautiful.
We get this locally from American Stone, and it's just a natural earth tone product. Watch that throughout the landscape. Items like this pinyon pine, a lot of people don't know that that's a native natural evergreen that's here in Utah.
Does that take a lot of water?
Once that's established, we can turn the water off to that tree and it will just survive on natural rainfall.
So that works perfect for this.
Yeah. So the dry river bed's another design element that goes throughout all the front yard and throughout all the back. is kind of a constant with the flagstone. And in time, you'll see some of the smaller plants that you can't really see now. They'll pop out, they'll flower. There's a lot of perennials throughout the whole thing. So people always think of a xeriscape like it's just gonna be rocks. When this design fills in, you'll barely notice the rock.
That's awesome.
So let me go show you the back. It's even better.
Let's look at it.
This is just a small landscape light. It's low voltage. It requires very little energy so that at night it looks like somebody's always here and she can come out and actually use this pathway at night. So this pathway that we're sitting on, it was existing and it led to nowhere. It stopped right there. So we wanted to keep it, find a way to use it in the design so we're not having to rip it out and charge her money, but it's cost savings for her so we can reuse it.
Yeah, that works out.
Also the bridge she had, so we used that. So we created the design so the dry riverbed would go under it, and then we just added on the pathway to get to kind of the main outdoor sitting area.
So Zach, I can't help but notice this beautiful arbor, the kind of entryway into this. Now, was this here or did you build this?
We built this custom. It's kind of like an outdoor room, if you will. They have to go through the imaginary door and come to their outdoor living space so that they can entertain out here with their barbecue and everything.
Looks great.
So one of the last requests that Susan had is she wanted a place to have for gardening. We build them not too high, not too low. We want to make it so if she wanted to, she could sit on them, put the best soil in there.
Yeah, it's about sitting height, isn't it?
Yeah, the best growing medium for her, so that she can come out here and just get the best yield for her vegetables. You don't have to get out there and till in a garden anymore. We get everything locally here in Utah. For example, the gravel mulch that we have in the dry stream bed and the Soma product we get from Nephi sandstone. We get the larger boulders from Browns Canyon up near Park City.
Oh, okay.
The functioning parts you don't really see with the xeriscape, the drip line, the weed fabric, all the parts and pieces for the water feature came from Sprinkler Supply. The plants come from Tri-City Nursery. All of these are local, homegrown Utah type people that have been here for 20, 30 years. We buy from them because we want as little hassle as possible getting our product here on site. Jay, fire pits this year are hot, and we're always trying to find new innovative ways to add those to the design of our landscapes. And here's one of them. It's from TieCast Systems. It's a new product. Does it look natural to you?
It looks very natural. So what's so unique about it?
It's not a natural product.
Really?
It's a man-made kind of concrete product. They manufacture this to be a fireplace that looks natural, and it's all mechanically connected, and it's a really strong product once it's put together. Susan, how'd we do?
You did fantastic. I've been wanting a yard like this for over 25 years. My husband didn't want it, so now I've got it. And I've even got people planning parties here for, they're already telling me what we're going to do. So I am just excited about this.
Well, that's exactly what we want to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this week's show. If you have a project or a property you'd like featured on the program, be sure to contact our producer. Now remember, real estate's all about local knowledge and timing, and that's what you get here on Real Estate Essentials.